The current spoiler warning level is Crimson.
Friends and folks, for this episode you're looking at a spoiler warning level of Crimson. We're talking about a trio of machines from the end of Gundam Reconquista and G, which is a show that the Great Gundam Project has not yet reached, and so it's far into the show that is in the future of GGP, and so all around it's a spoiler. Please enjoy the episode. Hello friends and folks, and welcome back to another episode of Mechanista and G. It's back to the normal list for us. I'm Six Detmar.
I'm Dylan. Woohoo, normal.
Dice time. Yeah.
Wait, what? Nice time?
Dice time.
Oh, dice time.
Similar to nice time, but sometimes not nice. Depends on the roll.
I mean, yeah, it's true.
Okay, and then... Interesting. Okay. I have a feeling you'll get this fairly quickly, but how do I make it hard?
Do your best.
Okay.
I believe in you.
I did my best.
Oh,
I'm not recording OBS. Hang on, folks.
Okay.
It's fine. The video will be a little behind, but you'll have heard sound up till this point. Here we go. Where we're recording now, OBS is good.
All right. Ooh. Okay. Looking at that crotch piece, that's definitely a crotch piece, I assume.
Oh, is it? Okay.
What? I assume that's the waist? Am I wrong?
It's my job to make your life difficult. I'm not going to give you answers.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm going to try to undermine
well,
you.
Okay, at first I was looking at it and I was thinking, that... Oh... See, the color feels like it should make it obvious for me. But... There's two things in my head, and I don't... Okay, is this the Rosen Zulu? Yes or no?
Hang on a sec. We've already covered the Rosen-Zulu.
Oh, right, okay.
I just wanted to confirm that. I didn't want to say that and have it not be true.
Oh,
it's
right.
definitely not the Rosen-Zulu. But...
Okay. I was looking at that and I'm like, Purple.
Purple, some might say.
It's not Gules de Lanza because that's more rounded. Because that's where the other one where my brain went is Gules de Lanza. But that's not the right... The vents are a little different, so it's not quite correct.
I didn't do this. I'm just gonna say this here so I'm not accused of cheating in the future. One of these days I'm gonna have to give Dylan a shot from the back just to make it harder.
Okay, but you didn't do this here, right?
I did not do this here.
Okay, just making sure. I'm trying to think of, things with this color. It's definitely not the Apigorbine from Build Fighters. What other fucking purple mobile suits are there? It's also clearly a more modern artwork. I can tell by the line style. This is not old Sete. This is not gonna end up being the Tom Liat or something.
Do you have an artist guess?
Okay, well, you know what? Actually, looking at the line style, I want to guess Ipe, which is one of the reasons I went with the Delanza. But I don't know for sure. I'm getting the feeling, based on this line work, that this is a G-Reco suit that I don't remember. Just given the line style. Because I don't think that... It doesn't look like a 00 design for the Sete, I don't think. And it's also too blocky for pretty much every family of suit in 00. So that's why I'm leaning on G-Reco. It's not...
That all sounds...
It's not the Hecate, is it?
No.
Okay, because the Hecate is purple, and I'm like, no, that's not the right...
Well, Hecate is kind of pink.
I guess that's true, yeah. Fuck. This is actually hard. Honestly, doing the waist is better than doing the knee because, as you know, this is just. I mean, it's a crotch piece with 2 skirts. That's actually like not as easily guessed as like.
Yeah, no, I tried to find the hardest part I could. So.
I'm trying to think. I'm just like, it's not the right shape for the Elmoran. It's not. The G Lucifer has purple on the legs, but the waist is white, and it's a different shape. Oh, is this? Ooh, I am spacing on its name. Fuck. After the Hecate. The
Johannan.
No. No. I mean, it's used by the same character as the Hecate. It's used by Mick Jack. But I can't remember the name of it. It's the final suit. Trinity. 3 legs.
Yes, it is the Trinity.
Okay. Yeah. So I was like going through my head and I'm like, okay. All right. It's definitely not the G-Rock. I can tell that much because the G-Rock also had. It was funny because as I was sitting there, I'm like, you know what? G-Reco, now that I think about it, has lots of pink and purple mobile suits in it. So I was like, this is actually making it really hard to think of. And I was like, okay, yeah. Now I'm opening up. Hold on, I was looking at the page of suits. You know what? I'm surprised I didn't guess the G-Aeon. I just didn't think about it. Though to be fair, the G-Aeon is a lot lighter on the skirts, and I have built the model of it. So I probably, even if I had instantly remembered the G-Aeon, I wouldn't necessarily have actually guessed it just because I know that one. Okay, I'm glad I remembered the Trinity. I mean, hell, I recorded a GIF of this relatively recently doing its thing, which I guess I can't link in here, but I can link you it. So yeah, the Trinity...
Just make the listener jealous. Yeah.
What?
I said, and just make the listener jealous, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Trinity is a neat suit. So it is introduced near the end of the show. It is one of the GIT laboratory suits. They make a lot of they make quite a few of the suits that are at the end of the show, that show up on mostly antagonistic. This is one of the ones they make that is not an antagonist suit, though. There's a couple other ones because I think they do. I think the GIT labs also do like some of the other ones. I can't remember. Anyway, but it's used in the last couple of episodes by Mick Jack, who is Clem Nick's girlfriend. And yeah, it's fucking cool. It's got 3 legs and it's got like it's all wired bits for its attacks. So to describe this machine though, starting from top to bottom, for the head, very Ippei head. We've got this like really flat, almost like a hammerhead shark shape of head. It has a camera on the forehead, a pink camera on top, and a green camera below that. Then you've got almost like a bit of a flat crest, sweeping backwards with 2 points, which is on like the brow area, I guess you would say. And then below that you have the eyes, which are almost like a Y-shaped sensor, with the 2 top arms of the Y extending far out, and then the bottom little line is just kind of short. Then for the face, on the cheeks go out pretty far. They have like little vent cuts near the base of them by where the sensor is, and then also nearer to the edge. And then as they go out, it has one more area, like it angles back, and then it pops out one more time, and then it angles back again, and you've got like this, like I said, it's like, hammerhead eyes sticking out on the sides, but then 2 horns swept back on the back of that. Then on the back of the head, you have just like a single camera on like a Mohawk camera on the back. And then a little bit of darker purple armor. I will say the main armor color on this is kind of a lilac, almost, maybe not even lilac, like almost like a cotton candy kind of pink, very, very light. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I'm like, what color is cotton candy? I guess it depends on the cotton candy, right?
Sure.
It's very light, in color, but, there's a little bit of pink in there. Then, moving on to the torso. For the torso, you have a torso with 2 pectoral vents. It's got a bit of a collar going around the head. It's not, like, super popped up or anything. It's very tightly close to where the neck joint is. You appear to have 2 Vulcans in this chest here, though these are not listed on the actual armaments. But you can see, these little embedded parts there. Again, it's one of those ones where I'm like looking at the list real quick, and yeah, it doesn't actually mention them, so they might just be thrusters looking at it. Who knows though? Especially with stuff that is not as well documented or as weird as G-Reco. But yeah, the torso is kind of interesting because so you have like a midsection plate. The lower section, though, like, normally on, like, Gundam types, for instance, right, you'll have, like, 2 stacked square sections, right, for the midsection. On this one, you have, like, a rounded midsection in the very middle, and then the lower section is, again, very Ippei, and I know we've seen this on, like, some other ones of his suits, but it's, like, the armor is, like, circular and goes around, and it has a bit of an opening in the front for, like, an ab crunch, and where, like, the chest can, like, bend into and towards. It's just an interesting shape for this little lower torso part here. And then for the arms, really large rounded shoulders. These shoulders almost have a cauliflower look to them or something, because, like, they're rounded, but it's, like, rounded growths on rounded growths, right? So it's, like, got these, like... there's a base, like, rounded part where it's, connected around the armor. Then it has another round protrusion at the end that is flat on the end of it with, like, these little cuts going around. Then, on the very outside and then on the front of and back of the shoulder, you have these, like, embedded green thrusters. Same color as, didn't mention it, but the chest vents on this, it has chest vents on both sides of the chest, like, split down the middle, with, like, a big hole in each section. And the color of the vents and these thrusters here are all, like, this kind of, like, not even really, like, it's not, what would you call it? Because I don't want to name the color. Yeah, what would you call this color? This exact shade?
I guess I would say lime green.
You'd say lime green,
which
okay.
is funny because it's a color that gets called lime green when it is not the color of a lime.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a little bit lighter than, like, a lime.
It's more neon than that.
Yeah,
but that color I do feel like still tends to get called lime green.
Then on the outside of the shoulder, on one of the rounded parts, you do have around this little edge a single plate that just sticks out at an angle. Almost like a little wing on the shoulder, which is pretty fun. I believe it has a thruster located under these. You can kind of see it on the rear shot here. That there's, like, an extra thruster under the armor. You can see that little green line for it.
And you can see it a little bit here and there.
Yeah, it's very faint, but yeah. For the biceps, you've got a circular bicep. It's pretty simple in detail. It kind of it goes, it's kind of conical in shape in that it, like, goes outward towards the middle, and then after you hit the middle it goes back inward. And you can see there's, like, a little panel line to denote that, so it does have, like, a sharp, like, little angle on it in the middle, but otherwise it's just like a simple round bicep. Standard kind of double joint in there. The arms are ridiculous looking because you've got these huge, like, flared cuffs on the arm with a on where the joint is, you have this big cutout so that it can actually bend the arm all the way, which is pretty fun. Otherwise it's just like a huge flared cuff though. inside of the cuff, you can actually see 2 thrusters. And then on the other side of the cuff here, you can see, I believe, all these little barrels are actually like beam gun barrels, which is similar to what are on the legs. We'll get to it. And then as you reach towards the end of the arm, you get this cool zigzag kind of panel line going around like the end of the forearm. And then the hands, instead of having like a normal wrist that's visible, the hand armor is like just like a huge beam emitter, and it has the fingers popping out around it. So it's got like a thumb and 4 fingers around it. Actually, does it even have 4? Or does it have 3 fingers? Now that I'm looking at it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's 4. It's got 2 thumbs and then 2 in the middle.
Okay, yeah, 2 thumbs, 2 in the middle. Yeah. Okay, couldn't see for sure. Okay. Weird shape of hands either way. I think it's fun though, because yeah, they're just clearly around the emitter. Now the emitter does have a wrist. You can see that, like, you know, obviously in the art it has a bit of like movement on it. So it still operates as like a wrist, but yeah. Then moving on to the waist, the part that stumped me. The middle crotch piece, you actually have like a really extended part on the top. Then it's just kind of your standard wedge towards the bottom. For the skirts, they have these little thrusters on the base of them where they are connected into the armor. Then the rest of the plate there is just kind of a long, pointy plate. You know, kind of a standard front skirt look for the most part. It's just kind of long is the main unique part. Get these unique side skirts though. They're rounded on the top and then pointed at the bottom, and they have this kind of like they have these 2 like little thrusters cut into them. It's got this very like flat, almost like a horseshoe crab or something shaped to them, just with the rounded bit on top and then having like, you know, a sharp end, which is fun. And then for the back, you have this large singular rear plate on the back. And the plate has kind of an interesting shape to it. It's like rounded around the sides, and then in the middle it goes flat. And it kind of sticks up a bit more because, as I mentioned, this machine, unlike a lot of mobile suits, has 3 legs. So it's got 2 like connected where you expect, and then it's got 1 extra one connected like into the back, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Then moving on to the thighs. The thighs on this machine are the same design on all 3 legs. You've got a thick panel line that shows like, I assume that's like a rotation point for the leg there. Then you get like the thigh towards where the joint is has like this bump of armor that just kind of like is in front of the joint. It kind of operates as like a knee. And then you can see on the back it bumps a little bit, but it still has the back open, obviously, for the joint to be double jointed. And then for the lower legs don't have any feet or anything. They're just like a long... Basically, they're just 3 funnels. The legs are 3 funnels. The
arms are funnels too, right?
Yes, the arms are also, like... I say funnels. I guess they are all wired.
Incoms.
So they're incoms, but they are called funnel in universe, so even with having wires, which is funny. The design of the leg ones though, they are similar to the arm ones, though less of a flared cuff at the top and more like you have the outer part of either leg has a bit of armor that sticks up, and then this rounded bit on the front and back that have these little like thrusters pointing upward. Then as you go down the leg, you get a sharp, flatter edge on the front and back, and it's a little smoother on the side, and there's like a downward facing thruster as well on these on either side of the leg. And then you just have just this peg, basically, like almost like a peg leg going on, but then a bunch of openings that are, you know, little barrels for firing its weapon. Yeah, this is a neat machine. This is a cool machine. Like I said, shows up near the end of the show. Last couple of episodes, you have this gets used like when there's the big re-entry battle, and then it's used in also the very final battle. A couple of other things. Sorry, I meant to mention also, forgetting the backpack. Very simple backpack on this guy. It's just a darker, more eggplanty colored backpack with 2 thrusters built on either side, and then it has a middle section that has like a vent in the middle of it. Pretty simple backpack though. So the face, the eyes on this are interesting because it has the green Y shape, and it also has like a mono eye on either side, which is not really a mono eye, but you know what I mean. It's a glowing, pink circle on either side too. You can see it in the line art there, and here it is like with Clem looking at it from the side. It's a really cool head. Also, okay, yeah, these are definitely head Vulcans on the head as well, so I think that it just doesn't list the Vulcans. Which happens kind of frequently, honestly, in some later Gundam things, especially if they don't actually use the Vulcans in animation. But a lot of designers will still put, like, what are obviously head Vulcans on a design just because, they're just kind of a mainstay. But yeah, no. The Trinity is great. I like the shape of this suit a lot. It is it's covered in bits. So the bits are all wired, so if in UC they would fit more as incoms, but you can see it can launch the arms and legs.
It looks like it can rotate that finger up. Because in these pictures here, it's like they're opposed, like thumbs on either side, but this one appears to have rotated up to become a normal third finger or fourth finger, whatever, a third whatever.
We know what you mean. And then here it is launching one of the legs as well. Now the fun thing with these is when they fire. So I mentioned that there's a lot of beam emitters. This is actually the exact scene I made the GIF of because what it does is, like, the first time you see the legs get used, all 3 of them get launched off, and you can see, like, the wire for them, and they just shotgun a bunch of beams downward, which I think is really cool. This is, like, obviously, like, at the start of the effect. Let me pull up the actual episode real quick, because it
looks very Zone of Enders.
Yeah, I quite like it. I mean, I think all the beam effects in G-Reco are done really well, and I really like the shotgun beams, though, going on with this. Just give me 1 second. I think it's episode 25 might be when this debuts. I know it's nearer to the end.
It says 22 is the first episode it appears in, but who knows?
Was it really that far? It might actually be. Yeah. It's been a while since I watched G-Reco, and I didn't watch the movies yet either, because GGP will be getting to it soon anyway. So I was just like, I'll just wait then. Right, okay, yeah, nearer to the end of episode 22 is when it is getting deployed. So we do see it. Give me 1 second. I need to find it. Because it's cool, and unfortunately we don't have a lot of resources for this stuff. This is the problem with the only issue with G-Reco suits, because the show, was a one-off thing, and didn't get a lot of extra material. Even with, like, getting the movies, that's, like, the sad part. Like, it got the movies, but even, like, in lieu of the movies, it didn't really get very much, unfortunately.
Yeah, it just wasn't that popular.
No, it wasn't. Which is a shame. But, yeah. Alright. Hold on. Anyway, real quick, just to vamp a little while I am trying to find this. The Trinity, though, like I said, it's all bits, and that's basically its primary mode of attack. This is kind of the thing. A lot of the suits in the show end up having this, like, weird, there's a lot of, like, I don't want to say it's over-specialization, but, like, a lot of suits that are just doing crazy shit. Here's a bit closer to the end of the barrage where you can see it. And you can actually see, one of the characters essentially trying to cancel out all the little beams by just rapid firing their beam rifle upward, which is fun.
Points for effort, but...
yeah, I believe it doesn't really work out. It works out a little better for the Mazraster, which is the, another suit in this scene, because it has beam whip arms, so it just starts fucking essentially doing beam shields or beam rotors from Victory to block these. which is fun. I just love that it literally does like an energy rain though with the leg funnels. And yeah, it's a cool machine. And that's it's weird because it's like I can say all that about it but that's basically it, you know? That's the thing with these machines is it's used for a couple episodes by a cool character. It has no other real things that that get shown off. It doesn't have like related units because it's not like there's a lot of side stories. It's one of those ones where it's just like I can evaluate the design and go, yeah, I really like it. I think it does some cool things. Here's some bits of animation where it's cool. And then that's basically it though. That's about all I can say about it. You know, like even it's funny because even with stuff like G-Witch, like, even though it's relatively recent, it already has, like, the novel and the manga, and those have several variations in them, and then even within the show, there are multiple variants of a suit, so, you know, like, there's only a couple of things we could roll from, like, G-Witch, where it would be like, this is also a quick episode. G-Reco is full of things that are really cool, but, basically exist as a one-and-done thing, you know?
Why don't we do the Dharma while we're at it?
Yeah, we could do the Dharma. That works. Alright. Let me see. Let's see. Here it is. Yeah, so this is Klimt. And then when we do the Dharma, there's actually something else we have to do with it too. Yeah, okay. I see. That's actually a very good choice, to do with this. And it belongs to, you know, Klim, so this makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so then we have the Dharma. This is a really neat mobile armor. Also from, like, the same point in the series. Basically, like, you know, these upgrades and whatnot. They get these nearer to the end of the series. So, yeah, the Dahak, Dharma, and Trinity, are all gotten from there. What is the Dahak? We'll get to it. But yeah, so, for the Dharma, starting with the head, so this is a very chunky mobile armor. It's almost got, what are the nesting dolls? I forget what they're called. It's got that shape.
Daruma.
Oh.
Hence the name, I assume.
I thought they were Matryoshka dolls or something, is what I was thinking.
Oh, that style of... Yes, of course. I thought they were doing Daruma dolls because that's a Japanese thing.
Yeah,
but...
no, I was thinking of the nesting dolls because, look at... I mean, you know what? It is doing both, right? Look at the shape. The reason it does a nesting doll thing, though, too, which is funny. But yeah, no, I mean...
It's true.
It is a round little guy. Or a round big guy, not a little guy. This is not little. It's quite large, actually. So yeah, for this head unit, you've got this head that is basically flatly attached to the body, has a mono eye in the middle, you have some cameras on top of the head as well, just two double pink cameras, two horns that are swept backwards, and then, like, a mouthpiece and, like, this, like, cheek armor with some vents in it. They're all, like, very flat on the top of the body here. For this upper body, you do have, like, sort of a pectoral section with these inlaid vents, and you get these, this has a bunch of beam emitters all over the body, and so I believe these are 2 of the beam emitters, because I think it has 12 total, so that would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, well, maybe these little ones are not, but 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, I don't know what 12 are. I'd have to look. It's hard, look.
There are a lot of them.
There's a lot of beam cannons, and this thing is covered in them, and they might be beam cannons, and some of them might be verniers. It's got a lot of little things all over it, little circular things. Anyway, so the upper chest, though, you've got these, like, 3 cut-in vents, and on, like, the areas above the shoulder, you get these 2 large fins that are swept backwards and end in a point. As well as further on the back, you get these 2 smaller fins, and instead of a backpack, this basically just has 2 thrusters, like, built into the back. They are, like, these flat cut-in thrusters, and on the inside, they have, like, these little, flaps that you can see in yellow. The lower body, and I guess I'll just cover the whole lower body.
And the upper body.
Yeah.
Okay, the body.
Well, I was like, this is like an upper section, then the rest of it is all one piece is the problem, you know?
Mm-hmm. Big egg.
It's a big egg. Yeah, it is this kind of like brownish color, has several vents cut throughout. You have them on more of the frontal area of the chest, 2 of them cut in. You have all these like weird little cuts that are like just like almost like locked in on it. Like it's weird. It feels like they're weird in shape because like some of them look like they would have things that are moving on like a rail or something, but then a lot of them are just
clearly
empty.
not enough space for them also.
Yeah,
right?
It's very strange. So you have all these like deep cuts throughout though. And like I said, you have a lot of these like little almost like eye looking, protrusions all over the body. You get 2 smaller ones near the top. You have these 2 in the middle of the body that are really large, and then that has 4 smaller ones too on either side of them below. And yeah. You also have from the back kind of extending down into this lower body, you have like almost a giant brick of a spine happening here, which is fun. Like just this large like square or large blocky piece on the top that then has like these little struts extending down, and in the middle of the struts you have these like large cubes with like a little embedded part in them.
It's basically the hinge, as we'll get into.
Yeah.
That's where, yeah.
Then for the arms, you've got more of this like kind of greenish color armor around the arm there with yellow on the inside. You can see a circular like joint piece or like where it's connecting into the shoulder where the arm can rotate on. Just kind of a double circle piece, very Gunpla feeling or in its construction, which is fun. And then you get these 2 large basically thrusters for the arms. Like it's like a shield on the outside that is just like all armor, and then you've got these large bladed like fins going on the outside of them, and they kind of seem similar to the ones on the top of the body, but a bit larger. And then at the end of each arm, okay, yeah, I think these are thrusters because now that I look at it, when you see it firing like it's all fire attack in the screenshot from Gundam Extreme Versus, it's only firing the ones from the body. So I think these might just all be like thrusters on the arms. Don't know for sure, but just a guess. And yeah. So, and you have like one huge thruster where the hand would be. So it doesn't really have any hands. And then it also has these weird leg units that are near the bottom. For the armor area around, like, where the leg is connected into, you have yellow. And basically it looks like they would just be able to rotate. Not a lot of movement there. And the legs are just these, like, double thrusters. At the end of them, it's got these, like, extendable little feet. That look like they're on, like, a slide mechanism. But otherwise, it's essentially just... this thing is just giant bits of armor with some guns attached to it. And it's fucking
I will
weird.
say,
yeah.
I don't think we should use the Extreme Versus as a reference, because if you look closely at this, you'll see, for instance, that these ones are firing from nothing.
I mean,
I don't think they're actually very well lined up.
I think that's actually just the flash effect, like right there. That's not a beam, because these are the beams that are the long part. That's the flash effect from around where it's coming from, I think.
Okay, but then these 2 are clearly not firing anything, and I think they just sort of, I think they didn't make it very accurate. I think they just drew effects.
Fair enough. Might also be, to be fair, it also could be that the mobile suit is in motion while firing there.
That's fair. That's fair.
Which happens very frequently when you're playing Gundam Extreme Versus.
It's a pretty like stationary game. I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't do that. Don't play it that way. That's a bad way to play it. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a weird machine, this weird egg. And yeah, it basically... So, we'll talk... I mean, we have art of it. So we show that off. Yep, I was also going to say, we also have some sete. Thank you, MHQ, for that. Just to make it a little more clear. You can see the way it pops open. And we've got a little friend in there. which is, well, the Dahak.
Yeah, so the two halves of the main body flip back, like to the sides and back, and then the head flips up and back, and then, there's a Dahak in there.
Yep. So I guess we'll go to the Dahak now. Give me 1 second. Let me pull that up, just to get the article. Anyway, so the Dahak is the actual final Klim suit. This is a strange machine as well, but I really like it. So to describe this machine, with the head, you've got this blue head that has like a flat disc on the back of the head, which is interesting. So you have a little bit of a Mohawk camera, but it's very flat and wide relative to like your normal Gundam like forehead cameras here. And then behind it, it's very rounded on the back of the head, and then you have this like crest stuck in there. And it's got like a little crescent shape cut out of the middle of it, nearer to the top. It also has these 4 little like indentations that are like pressed down in the armor. In front of like the camera on the forehead, you've got like these swept back long horns or antenna. And then for the face, you've got this like weird little face. The eyes are just like your standard, like, kind of green blue color for the cameras. Then you've got like a red mask around it, but it's not like, when you have a Gundam, like this eye color is not uncommon for a Gundam, nor is the having red around them. This is not done the way a Gundam is done, though. It also has it almost has like a nose because it has like a middle section you can see. But it doesn't look like the standard, like, under the eyes red that you get on like a Gundam. Around that, then, you get a layer of white armor that is visible. And then around that, you have the rest of the face, which is just in, like, the blue. It has these cheek vents on the side that are pretty cool. They're, like, just these, like, little flat, they're like a block with these cuts in it, basically. And then it also has a separate chin that's in white, just a little white chin piece. So if you really wanted to separate its elements, it's kind of like a Gundam head, just really fucked up and weird, and not much like the Gundam Mark V. Technically, if you labeled these things, you could name them the things that a Gundam has, like a forehead camera, a V-fin, red under the eyes, a separate chin, etc. But it's not done like a Gundam. This is a really weird head. You have a lot of gray pieces that are visible for the neck. You can see, like, for the upper torso, it has a pretty big open upper area. It's just, like, mechanical parts. For the chest block, you've got, like, a very flat chest area. The pectorals have these little triangles on them. It's not really like a vent, just these little, like, separate triangle pieces cut into there, which is interesting. Then you've got the actual cockpit hatch, I believe, there is in the middle. You can see
down here.
Right, yep. And it's like, your round kind of cockpit door in the inside. It's like the double door thing, right? Because you have the armor and then you have the actual cockpit structure. You can also see on the lower sides of the chest, on either side of the abdomen, you've got these thrusters built in. Then for the very lower section that connects into the waist, you get this like other round piece of armor that's really weird. It actually has 2 plugs going from the back of this like lower round torso bit that go into like the front of the crotch piece there. Very weird shape for this, though. Just, again, Ippei doing weird Ippei things, experimenting with form. For the arms, you've got shoulders that are kind of white at the base part of them. Well, okay, the under shoulder part is blue, and this part actually extends all the way to the end, and it's got these like white plates that are thrown around them, near where the base of them connect into the arms. So, and these parts have like little thrusters in them. The blue parts have yellow thrusters at the end. For the bicep, simple square bicep, not too detailed or anything. You have these round double joints for the arm. Well, actually, no, not double joint. That's like a single axis joint. Now that I look at it, yeah, that would just be like a single axis joint for the arm there.
Yeah, because there's no point in double jointing it because it's got these big pads in the back that would block movement.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you'd expect, but Ippei did draw a little diagram of how it would move. But like, yeah, this is exactly what you'd expect the joints to look like.
Yeah. Then for the lower arm, you've got a blue piece at the base of it, though most of it is this larger bit of white armor that pops up around. Also have some blue triangles on the sides of this armor. Lots of little triangles randomly drawn on this. In different places. The wrist is also the same kind of circular single axis, which is, again, just interesting seeing the same joint on, like, the wrist and the arm there. The hands are huge on this guy. You've got these huge hands. They have, they're mostly in blue, but on the back of the hand, and then on all the fingers, though not on the thumbs, you have white armor around them, which is really cool looking. Gives this almost skeletal look because of having the white armor there. The palms of the hand also, you can see that they have emitters all over them, because one of the main thing that this does, besides its weapons, which we'll get to, is it can generate beam barriers on the hands. It just lifts up the hands and is able to create barriers with them.
In peacetime, the beam barrier is used for protection against debris during mining.
That is a random weird detail. I wonder if that comes from the model or what. I have no idea. Anyway.
Is there a model of this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is one of the ones that did get a high grade, luckily, because I quite like it.
Huh.
My favorite video of it is someone attaching their high grade to a fan, because, I mean, you could see it in one point, not to skip too far ahead, but he does start doing a thing where he starts spinning while having the beam sabers up, and also to protect himself with the shields completely. Starts, spinning, like, really fast like this. And someone tied it to a fan and had the beam effects all going and just turned on the fan to do this.
That's pretty good.
And it made me laugh. So I love remembering that. Anyway. Moving on to the waist. So I mentioned you've got this front crotch piece of armor that is just like a frontal armor piece. There's no skirt. And there's barely a waist, because if you look at the way the legs connect in here, the joints almost connect into each other. You can see, like, that's like the circle, same kind of joint as the wrist and the elbow there that the thigh connects into. And you can see how close to the middle it is there. Normally you get these, like, large wedges in the middle for a lot of mobile suit waists, but here it's just, like, very tightly connected. You do have a rear skirt that is on the back of the waist here. It is elongated in the middle, flat bottom, and then it pops up. Looks like a very angry kind of face to me, almost, because of the way these thrusters are. It's got these circular thrusters that are at an angle on either side, and then in the middle part that goes further down, it's got this, like, square thruster that it just makes it look like an angry face with, like, a little mouth, to me.
It is weirdly tame for Ippei, but that's fine. That's not a problem. Just unexpected.
Yep. And then for the legs themselves, you have some black armor at the very base of the legs going around the joints where these connect into the waist section. Then you've got the sides of the legs have armor on them, kind of, rather than having, like, your normal side skirts, you've got this extended, like piece of armor on the top of the leg connected into the side there. That has, like, a little thruster in the middle. It's not quite pointed at the bottom, but, it starts coming to a point and then flattens out nearer to the bottom of it. The thighs themselves, very simple rounded thighs. They have a cut in the top of them where you can see the, like, legs are plugged into as well there. Large gray pieces for the knees here, and then behind the knees you can see the again, same single axis joint design for these legs. It's really funny because he just decided that for the Dahak, every joint would have this exact same design. It would just be a big circle with, like, a single axis movement in it. Which is fun. It's different. Then for the lower leg, you get white armor on the front, and then it's got, like, two cuts in the white armor. It's blue around the side. On the outside, you get a little yellow circular thruster around the bottom of the calf on either side. Or only on the outside, not on either side. Only on the outside of either leg, I should say. And then on the back of the leg, you have this cut in with these like gray plates for where the thruster is here in the back. It's really cool looking. I just like having like all these like plates in there that are visible. You don't really have much of a foot on this guy because what happens is the calves and the foot are all one piece. Like the leg keeps going down. And so when you hit the very bottom of the leg, you've got these big cuts in the side, which I believe are probably more thrusters or something like embedded in there. And then you've got a single like toe that is almost like a big nail, almost like just going straight downward. And then you've got like a little tall heel on the back. The heel's not as long as the toe though on the front, because the toe starts higher and then the heel's mostly at the like bottom of this armor. And it's a little thicker and in the more grayish color of like the joints and whatnot than the white on the toe piece. Just interesting foot design, really weird. And finally, the backpack, which is not really a backpack, but wanted to save it for the end. So the back of the torso sticks out, and rather than having a normal backpack, it just has these 4 arms on it. These 4 little arms are little sub-arms. They can fold out, and the main thing with them is, well, they're basically just big beam sabers / beam cannons. They, are able to aim any which way. They can fire, and then it's weird. It just does this very odd thing where it protects itself with its hands, and then it uses beam sabers and whatnot that are all in the back of it on these other arms. You can see it extending them as beam sabers here, for instance.
They go long.
Yep, they're very big. And yeah, you can see the shield hands put up here in this image on the right. Just puts the hands out, generates a barrier in front of it, and then, is able to fire at things with the beam cannons while it's protecting itself with the hands. It's a really weird concept, and I like it a lot, because it's just strange. It's just weird. And I like weird. Using the hands only for protection is just, like, a radical idea for a Gundam machine.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So, a fun comparison we can do here, there's actually a couple. Here we can see Ippei's more detailed earlier art, which he is wont to do. It's surprisingly simple for his art, though. It's not as detailed as some of his detailed art goes, but you can still see, like, with, like, things like the little divots on the head, or you can see he adds, like, the little vents on the chest there. A
lot of detail on that rear skirt, especially.
Yeah, on the rear skirt, on the underside, you also get these, like, little cuts in the sides of the armor here. The emitters are more clear. Instead of just, like, having, like, them be inside of the darkness there, you have, like, this little circular nozzle almost. It's just some extra detail on the art, mostly just panel lines and whatnot, and then this is probably the almost certainly the exact art that the art team gets, and it's like, okay, now let's make this for animation, and so they flatten out a lot of the details. It's fun.
There are also a couple of other colors he was toying with using.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to bring up, is then we have the very weird prototype design. So this prototype design is interesting because it actually does 2 different ideas.
More things.
Yeah. So the prototype design is in almost like the G Lucifer's colors. A lot of things at the end of the show actually have similar colors like this. He really likes going for, like, the pinks and the purples and the white at the end. Because there's a couple machines that have this color scheme, The G Lucifer has, like, this color scheme. Obviously, we talked about the Trinity having similar colors. But yeah, and then this one also white, pink, purple, etc. So one major difference on the early design that you can see is the 4 back parts were just sub-arms with hands, and then he has 4 beam sabers that he could grab from the back. Still has the, I believe these are still the, shields on the hands, obviously, but, just a different way of handling the weapon with this, with the beam sabers there. I do like these colors quite a bit, though. Still like the final as well. They're both fun. Yeah, so that would be the early version of the Dahak's design, though. And yeah, it's, again, machine introduced towards the end, used by the best boy, Clinton Nikini. He's a genius, oh no, etc., etc.
It does seem like he also, at least for a bit, was like, before. I would guess, and this is pure conjecture, but like the push was for this color scheme, this blue color scheme, and he was like, okay, but what about, I like the lavender, what about blue and lavender? And they're like, no.
Which is funny, though, because this art is for, like, I think the DVD or something, so he just still draws it like this, yeah.
Huh.
Well, that's art, yeah, because these arts are, all these, like, flat promo arts, were used for, like, you know, different promo things, so that's how he colors it, is, yeah, he just makes it have more of the lavender there. Which is fun.
Yeah, I actually do like this color scheme better, personally, but that's part of my, like, I feel like it's part and parcel with my, like, MSV brain, right? Of, like, I like colors that feel practical.
Well, also, these are his colors. That's the other thing. Because,
True.
I mean, his other machine, other machines, he uses a Jahannam as well, but his original machine, well, it also adds a different shade of yellow, is blue and white, though, you know, with the, Montero, so, yeah. But yeah, no, the Dahak's a really neat little upgrade for him at the end, and I think it's a cool suit. Again, I wish it had more variations and whatnot, because I think Ippei's designs for this show... I mean, I always like Ippei's designs, but the thing that G-Reco lets him do that other shows don't is the functions of the mobile suits are also weird. And I feel like, you know, in IBO, he's just reined in by the setting. He doesn't really get to do too many weird things in IBO because everything is using the solid weapons. You know, he has some weird solid weapons, but you know what I mean. Like, a lot of the machines in G-Reco are doing weird shit with, like, their beam weapons and stuff that are really cool and unique. And I feel like Ippei just had, like, a lot of, like, ways to flex and do weird stuff there that he doesn't always get to do with as many other shows. That he's gotten to work on since. Not that his designs are bad. I still think his designs are great. I just mean, like,
he gets to have some fun in Moon.
You know what? Moon he gets to have fun in, probably also because it's a manga. But, you know, like, his G-Witch designs... a lot of the suits are still using your standard beam rifle, etc., 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 you know? Like, there's not, like, a lot of unique functions, I guess I would say. As opposed to, you know, we talk about a suit in this, and even, like, something like the Trinity is, like, you know, even though it's all beam cannons, it is doing the weird thing of having, you know, the legs fly off as, like, wired bits, and then also having, like, the large beam sabers in the arms and whatnot. It's just cool. I just think that it's cool. And I like a lot of his work, from G-Reco a lot. Anyway, but yeah, so that would be those two, and I guess that would be it now, because we covered, you know, all their end suits together. So, yeah. Still kind of a short episode, but 6. Where can people find you? Online.
You can find me on, I almost said the bad one. On Blue Sky, at 6Detmar, SAXDETTMAR. And you can find my work at scanlinemedia.com or patreon.com/scanlinemedia. And finally, if you want to chat with us, best way to do that is to go to the Scanline Media Discord. Link in the show notes.
Yeah.
What about you?
You can find me at LowPolyRobot on Blue Sky as well. I almost screwed up as well, even though I was just thinking about how it was funny that you screwed up. Now I almost did it. Anyway, but yeah, no, I just post whatever I'm up to there. You know, very much just posting mecha, posting random game stuff, etc. Lamenting that the Alexander from Code Geass Akito the Exiled is not in something cooler because I really like it.
Alas. God is not so kind.
Yeah. You know, we're not covering it yet, but this is what I mean. God, I love the Guy Trash. It's got such a funny name, and it's got such a weird function. We'll talk about it one day. Anyway. Well.
Do you want to handle the quote this time? I'll post it and you can read it.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll do it. Huh? Assault can also refer to beating up someone. Sorry. I started laughing partway through because I forgot about that. Oh, right. He probably says that because the G-Self, the assault, pack. That's really funny. Is it assault in Katakana? It is! Oh, that's also why! Because it's assault, like, in the English word assault. Like, in the Japanese, there. Asaruto. So that's why he has to look...
I just love Tomino as a writer.
That's why he has to look up what assault means. That's really good, actually. I like that bit. That's pretty good. Tomino's great. He writes some silly shit.
There's a very, like, realistic, but, like, you know, only a certain type of person, but, like, very grounded sort of pedantry that shows up in Tomino writing that I really appreciate.
It's so good.
No one is allowed to say anything in that show without being contested by someone else.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'll ask you after. That's fine.
Okay, all right. I guess I've got a nice surprise waiting for me. But until then, folks, peace out.
Peace.